You know the vibes. Welcome back to another episode of the Hoop Genius podcast presented by NBA 2K22. Myself, Mamuti, alongside real name, no gimmicks, the one, the only, the point guard guru, Mr. BJ Armstrong. BJ, how you doing today?
Oh, Bo, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. We're back. We got through the draft. And guess what's next? Free agency. Ooh. It's a year-round business, and you and I are loving every moment of it.
That's right. Well, this year, there's not that many teams who have cap space, so there's not too much talk about big free agency signings. There aren't that many big name free agents, but what there is a lot of talk of is sign and trade deals, players wanting to be traded, find new homes. And guess who's dominating the headlines once again? It feels like...
Who might that be, Mo?
Whether he's playing, not playing, he's always in the headlines, regardless of what's going on. The one, the only, Mr. Kyrie Irving. He's once again, in the news cycle. Reason being, he's got his player option coming up with the Brooklyn Nets for around $37 million. Now, he can opt into this final year of his contract, or he can decline it and try to get a longer-term deal. Now, what he's trying to do is get more guaranteed money for the longer term. However, the Brooklyn Nets are very hesitant to do this. Now, Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN described the mood between the two camps as acrimonious. That's what he's saying is going on.
That's a big word, Mo. That's a big word.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. And I'm going to put up the dictionary here. And acrimonious, long story short, means angry or bitter. Because Kyrie wants a long-term deal with a lot of money guaranteed because he is, let's not get confused, one of the most talented players in the association when he's playing. But the Brooklyn Nets say that he's missed 123 games since he's been there, whether it's injuries, the vaccine, or that mysterious 2-week break that he took. He's only played 103 out of the 226 possible games that the Brooklyn Nets have had. Over the last 5 years, in fact, Kyrie Irving has missed 41% of potential games, regardless of what team he's on. So it makes sense for the Brooklyn Nets to put these incentives in his contract to say, well, you have to play, 65 games this year to get all of your money. But also from Kyrie Irving's side, he can't predict the future. If he was to get injured on the first day of the season, God forbid, and miss a whole bunch of games out of no fault of his own, then he'd lose out on money that other players get who don't have these things in their contract. So BJ, you've been around the league for a long time. You've seen a whole variety of different contracts. You've been an agent, you've been in the front office, you've been a player. What's your take on this whole situation between the Brooklyn Nets and Kyrie Irving?
Well, Mo, any part of a negotiation, one side is going to ask for one thing. And as an agent, it's okay to ask. I don't have a problem. Kyrie should ask.
Yeah.
He should ask. Okay. The only thing that the opposition can say is no. So I have no problem with him asking for whatever it is that's being reported, if in fact that is true. However, when I look at the Nets, the facts remain. He's missed, what'd you say, 41%
of the last games? 5 years. Yeah. Whether it's the Nets or the Celtics or whatever he is.
So they should ask for a discount.
Well, they're trying to go for less years rather than less money. They're trying to go for the less years. Kyrie wants a long-term deal.
If Kyrie played, let's say, 85 to 90% of the games, this isn't even a conversation. We're not arguing about talent. We're not arguing about his impact on the game. We're not arguing about him putting people in the seats. We're not arguing about any of that. We are negotiating on, one has facts. They have facts. We don't have to agree with it, talking about the Nets, but they have evidence to indicate over the last 5 years, he's only participated in 41% of the games. Is that what you said, right, Mo?
That's according to the internet. I've not done the numbers myself. I'm trusting, I think it was Bleach Report.
Let's just say, so we're accurate here. He's missed a substantial amount of games.
Yes, a noticeable amount more than other players.
Okay. Now, when he does play,
Oof.
Whether he plays 25 games, 29 games, whatever he played this year, we're not arguing.
Oh, no.
And you know my criteria for a max player. I have two. You either put people in the seats or you affect the bottom line, which is wins and losses in this league. Kyrie does both. He's an exciting player. People pay to watch him.
Yeah.
And Kyrie is an impactful player where he affects the bottom line to win games.
Unless it's the first round against the Celtics.
Unless there are exceptions to every rule. Now, I don't have a problem with that at all. Now, this is why they call it a negotiation.
Yeah.
So, Mo, and the words, let the games begin.
Yes, sir.
I'm all for it. And I want to share this with our listeners, you, and everyone else who's listening. A negotiation doesn't start until someone says no.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well,
okay. So let's see what happens.
Well, there are a few options being floated out there in the media. You know, there is apparently a list of teams that Kyrie would like to be traded to for the second time in his career. He has a list of teams that he would like to be traded to. Let me try and see if I can pull up the list right now. Okay. This is just reported. I've not heard it from Kyrie himself. Let me try and find it. But there are people, as always, because it's the offseason, BJ, people are talking about the Lakers. And the only way for him, unless the Lakers are willing to trade Russell Westbrook, is for him to take a $6 million deal there, which I don't think.
Yeah, here is the bottom line here.
So here's the list. I got the list for you if you want it.
Okay, go ahead.
The Lakers, the Clippers, the Knicks, the Nets, the Mavericks, and the funniest one for me, the 76ers, who happen to feature James Harden, who reportedly left Brooklyn because he didn't want to play with Mr. Irving.
Okay. All right. Great. Okay, great. That's fine. Again, these are the rumors. These are the internets. Let me clear this up. That's not happening. And here's why it's not happening. It's because at some point, we all have to make business decisions. Kyrie is without question when he plays, one of the elite players. Under what business sense would it be in his best interest to go from making, what is he making now? 30 something million?
Well, his player option is 36.9.
36.9 million dollars to making $6 million. For what reason?
I have no idea.
Okay, so if he goes to Philly, the answer is no. If he goes to the Knicks,
for the other teams, it would be in some sort of trade, I imagine. That's what the reports are saying.
Why would the Nets at this point take back that level of contract?
Because they have
No. You don't have to. At some point, we all have to make a business decision. Even billionaires, Mo, this, I have no idea. But I can count in my mind to say he's probably losing. The owner of the Nets is probably losing $50 to $60 million. He's probably going to lose upward to like $100 million just in luxury tax alone. Now, can he afford that? Absolutely. But at some point, Mo, you have to say the following. You're paying $60-something million in luxury tax, and you can't even get one win. At some point, you have to make a business decision, because let me put this into its proper context, unless I'm missing something. They have another player that's on their team who hasn't played a game.
Correct.
Let alone this guy. Okay.
And we don't know when he will play a game.
This is what I'm saying. So, Mo, I'm going to say the following. I understand you gain the leverage. I want to get traded here. Okay, great. There's a lot of things I want too. The reality of it is, it's a business decision. There's only a couple of teams that could pay him. The Pistons. I don't think the Pistons are going to do it now because
no, they're not doing it.
Okay. I don't think the Knicks bypass a lottery pick to make space for Kyrie Irving. I don't believe they would do that.
Well, if they miss on Brunson,
Okay, so who they trade? So we're going to trade Julius Randle. What are you going to do?
They're going to have to do something because they've created that space to try and offer it to Jalen Brunson.
Think about it. So you're going to so you're the owner of the Nets. You're just going to take on a salary for what reason?
Well, if Kyrie doesn't accept his play option, is he not a free agent?
He's an unrestricted free agent.
And the Knicks have created $100 million in salary space. Is that not what the Knicks have created enough space to offer Jalen Brunson a $100 million contract?
They could do that.
So could they not offer that to Kyrie Irving if they miss out on Jalen Brunson? Or if Kyrie Irving becomes available, offer it to him instead of Jalen Brunson?
I don't see that happening under any circumstance.
Okay.
I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening at all.
But neither do I. I'm just saying hypotheticals.
Well, great. I live in the real world. That's not happening. I'll let you play that game.
Okay.
But on this game, you said real name, no gimmicks. No gimmicks, no hypothetical. They're not offering them that. I would be shocked. Okay. I would be, as you were ready to turn your hair green, I'm ready to turn my hair green. The little hair that I have. If the Knicks turn around and offer Kyrie Irving a max.
Okay.
Think about that. Think about the fun the media would have with that one.
Oh, it would be a field day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't see that happening. Now, at some point here, they have to negotiate. They have to figure it. They have to figure it out, and they have to come to some conclusion. I think both sides will make their argument. We don't have to agree with their argument. The Nets have a legit argument. Kyrie, get all the money you can as a player.
Secure the bag.
I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with that. As you say, secure the bag, get as much as you can. But at some point, hopefully cooler heads will prevail and they'll strike a deal. That's how it happens. So,
okay,
we'll see.
Well, Kyrie's leverage reportedly with the Brooklyn Nets is that if he doesn't re-sign a deal in Brooklyn, then Kevin Durant will ask to be traded. Because let's be honest, Kevin Durant deserves better than being swept out of the first round of the playoffs. At this stage of his career, coming back from what he's come back from, playing basketball at the level that he plays basketball at.
So, but my question is, who does Kevin Durant have to blame? You can't blame the Nets on this one. Like, I'm not taking himself sides
for leaving Golden State, who
can't blame
just won
the Nets
the championship.
The Nets are all in.
Oh, they spent the money. You can't blame the Nets. But
the Nets are all in. And
if
I'm not mistaken,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, I thought this was Kevin Durant leading this chart. So the Nets are all in. They're all in.
They're all in with a player who's threatening to walk and another player who we don't know when they're actually going to play. So and then a bunch of role players. Nick Claxton might not be back. Bruce Brown could go get paid. Like, I don't know what their roster is actually going to look like. Let's be honest. The fact is, Kevin Durant is an older player now. How many years does he have left playing at this elite level? Now, he might do a LeBron and play 5 more years at this great level. Okay. But I don't know. He already missed a lot of time with injury last year. For him, looking at it and given how much he wants to win and how competitive he is, he might, or this is what they're saying, and this is what apparently the leverage Kyrie has is, if Kyrie walks, KD will want to be traded out there. And the rest of the NBA has caught attention. I don't know if you saw Dame Lillard's Instagram story the other day. Dame Lillard posted a Photoshop pic of KD and him in Portland Trailblazers jerseys, which Yusuf Nurkic also tweeted out.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, so it's clear the players around the league,
for him though.
The players around the league think that KD could become available.
Listen. What does Portland have? What do they have?
Well, they just had the number 7th pick in the draft, I guess, if Brooklyn want to go to a full rebuild, but then they got to find some salaries to fill it up.
Okay, so. No, that's what I'm saying. So, all right, they got the 7th pick in the draft. That's what? I don't know, $6-7 million. What is that? $6-7 million.
Yeah.
KD's got to be making what, 35-40 million or something?
Yeah.
So let's fill this out. Let's go through this mental exercise. Let's fill this out. Okay, how are we going to fill this out?
Well, they have Eric Bledsoe's almost $20 million a year contract, which is always good fun.
Let's just take that back because that's what we want. Let's just take that back. That's a good trade. Come on. Let's be honest.
I'm not saying he's going to get traded to Portland. I'm just saying if the fact that the players are acting like this it must mean that there is some possibility that KD could want to leave Brooklyn. Now, I'm not saying Portland is where he's going to go. I'm just saying that he could ask out. Do you think that that's outside the realm of possibility? KD asking out of Brooklyn if Kyrie Irving does not return and Ben Simmons is still injured or unable to play for whatever reason.
Okay. Lots of players ask out. And
what do you mean? And
okay, he asked out. Okay, great. And so let's get
okay.
If he's the ask out, we're talking about you're going to get an elite all-star player back. You're talking about an Anthony Davis, a LeBron James. You're talking about a Damian Lillard. You're talking about Paul George. You're talking elite level players. Jokic. You're talking Joel Embiid. That's what you're going to get back. That's what you're going to get back.
Now, the question I'm asking you is, do you see?
Okay, so if he asks out,
yes,
do I see it? For what?
To win.
He's already won.
To win more? To win on his without Golden State, given that everyone was saying so much about Golden State and people seem to think that he cares?
Listen. I'm going to give this young man the respect he deserves, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant made a choice. If winning was the sole thing here, right?
Mm-hmm.
He goes to the NBA Finals 3 times. They win it twice. They probably win 3 times if he doesn't get hurt.
Yep, and he wins MVP.
Finals MVP. What more? And he's won back-to-back. What more winning can we do here? We're talking about perfection almost. They were perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to talk about. He had another challenge, which you don't have to agree with it, but you got to respect it. He's earned that, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's done what he did. Now we have to take on that responsibility. No one said this was going to be easy. So if winning was first and foremost, I can't get no better than you go to the NBA Finals 3 consecutive years, you win 2 titles, and you're the Finals MVP. What else can be said here? We have to give him his respect. We can't.
I did not disrespect him for a second.
Hey, I hope Kevin, the what he's looking for, whatever he's looking for, I'm gonna respect it. That's his decision. I can have, if he asks me, I would give him my opinion, but it doesn't require to give him my opinion. I'm gonna admire him. I'm gonna admire his talent. I'm gonna respect what he's done. I'm gonna respect what he's doing, and he saw a challenge that he needed. Now let's take on this challenge and keep the train moving. That's all we can do. Okay. Because the Nets are in, the players are in, everybody is in. Well, unfortunately,
2 of the players.
No. Unfortunately, the year before, Kyrie got hurt. Unfortunately.
Yep. Harden was hurt as well.
Unfortunately, Harden was hurt as well. Unfortunately, he stepped on the line when he made the
hit 2 instead of 3. Yep.
Okay. Unfortunately, that's the way about. And then unfortunately, he got hurt. He got hurt again this year. COVID and all those things. And whatever happened. So now I'm going to respect the fact, because we know he and Kyrie have the talent, but they got to put it together.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look at those 2 and say, okay, those guys are going to figure it out.
I don't know if they will figure out in Brooklyn. And this is why the media talk is the offseason. These are things what happens. Our friend Brian Scalabrine said that Boston should trade Jaylen Brown, 3 picks, 2 pick swaps, and Daniel Tice in exchange for Kevin Durant if Kyrie Irving was to walk away. This is what people have been saying. This is what people have been talking about.
If I'm Brooklyn and I'm Boston. If I'm Brooklyn, I'm asking for Jason Tatum.
Okay, that won't happen.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. He's the best player on their team. Okay, I get why Boston would do that. If I'm Boston, that's what I would do. KD is without question. I'm just being conservative. You can shake it, bake it, however you want to do it. He's a top 3 player in the league. So I'm asking for a top 3 player in return. That's a fact.
Yep.
If
but they don't have the leverage.
That's just good business. That's good. Oh, they have the leverage. He's already signed. They have the leverage. They have the leverage. Now, if you want KD, it's got to be it. I'm going to do his, KD's got to do his best for KD. We agree with that.
Yes.
Brooklyn's got to do what's best for Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And then that's why we have to, and then somewhere in between what's best for you and what's best for them, you get a deal done. So I'm not mad at that. But if I have if I was a GM and he walked in my office, I would say, okay, KD, I'll move you. I'm going to do what's best for you. Okay. But can you respect this? Can I do what's best for me? I'm respect the fact that you came in and we had a man-to-man conversation. I don't want to trade you, KD. I would prefer to work this out. KD says, you know what? I think this is best for me. Great. Okay, that's it. Now, guess what I got to do? That's just good business.
Okay. Well,
there's nothing wrong with that.
You know, we have to give the great players their respects. But I heard something this week that it was kind of weird to listen to. It was very strange. And I'm going to play it to you. I don't know if you've heard this yet. This was part of JJ Redick's show. Shout out to JJ Redick. We don't own any of this clip we're about to play, but I think it would be okay if I played it because it's just a short extract. I want you to take a listen to this. This is Kendrick Perkins talking about, I believe, the 2008 Eastern Conference Finals and facing LeBron James in Game 7.
I got a confession. Like, let me tell you. So, we played the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2008, and it was a Game 7, right? We just had lost Game 6. And I ain't gonna lie, man, I was scared as hell going into that Game 7 against LeBron James. And this was the only time that I actually prayed that something happened to him at practice. I said, you know what? Like, no.
What a thing to confess.
I know, but I'm being real. Like, I was like, let us get breaking news that LeBron has, tore his ACL or something.
Jesus.
Like, I did, bro. Like, I'm not even lying. I'm not even exaggerating. And
I have to edit this out.
No, you can't edit this out. This is real. That's how terrified I was of LeBron. Let me tell you. We got by the Hawks. And I remember it was Game 6 in Cleveland. And he drove down the lane, and I think he dunked on KG and James Posey. And I seen it in his eyes because I was sitting on the bench. I had a horrible game. And I kept saying to myself, I was like, man, we not getting past this motherfucker. He coming in here, and he go beat us. I could see it. And I was scared. I was like, this is just a different dude right now. And I was scared. And I actually was sitting up there really praying that I woke up to some news that some type of way he was going to be out the game.
I'm going to dial, real quick, I guess I can't let this go. I'm going to dial it back. I'm going to dial it back for a second and maybe just say you were praying that he had a sprained ankle. That maybe he had a stomach bug.
No, a stomach bug or a sprained ankle, he still had a chance to play. I did not want him to play in this Game 7.
If you want to listen to the full thing, check out JJ Redick's show, Old Man 03, fantastic podcast. But that was very strange to listen to, BJ. Now, I want to get your immediate reaction. Was that the first time you've heard that clip?
That's yes. Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know really what to say. That one doesn't require me to say it. At my age, my favorite word right now is whatever.
Come on. BJ, did you ever pray for an opponent to injure their ACL so you didn't have to play them?
No.
Did you ever pray for an opponent to be injured so you didn't have to play them?
You know, you've heard me say this over and over again, and I've learned this. I learned it at a young age. I as a young kid, I was a awful loser even as a young kid. Like more like, you play a game as a kid and you lose and you might be mad for a second and you move on. Okay. I was awful. Like, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready. I'm not like, how you see kids, maybe they'll get a tear in their eye. I'm in a full blown, if I lost at anything. Okay. My parents thought something was wrong with me. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It wasn't until fortunately, I learned the difference between winning and losing, which creates fear. And I was actually happy to see, or at least hear him say he was scared. Well, you're scared, Mo. You'll do something. You don't think right when you're scared. But when you compete, you're looking for the best player, and you're saying, if I want to be the best, I got to go through this person here. Bring it. As a kid, I would cry something awful because I just wanted to win, because I didn't like that feeling of losing. Losing brings about fear, and I'm okay with that. It's okay. Now, what he said and what he did, I don't like to see people get hurt at all. That's the one thing. I don't care, when you play against anybody, Mo, and somebody goes down, even to this day, the last thing, I don't care who it is, I don't want to see people get hurt.
That's facts.
Okay, that's just me. But I learned that as a competitor because you want to play against the best. Like, and you've heard me say this, Mo, time and time again. The score is always 0-0. That's the formula for a competitor.
The score was literally 3-3. Like, it was a game 7. It's not like it's not like the Cavs are up 50 and you're about to be eliminated.
That's the greatest. I don't work out just so I can win. I work out, Mo, because I want to find out who's the best. Like, who's the best? Like, who's the best? Who's the best here? Because I'm going to show up, Mo. I believe I'm going to win. And you know what's beautiful? Mo's going to show up because he believes he can win. And may the best guy win.
That's facts.
That's competition.
Man, this thing from Kendrick Perkins is just.
Now, I don't know if it's here, and I don't want to believe that he even, that he believed that. I don't think. I know Kendrick, so I'm just going to say maybe it was a story that you go, well, maybe it could have been worded different. It could have.
But he said.
I think what
he said, I have a confession to make. It's not like anyone asked him the question, Kendrick, have you ever prayed for an opponent to get injured? Or Kendrick, have you ever been super? I don't know what the context is, but he just goes, I have a confession to make. I prayed LeBron James would tear his ACL. I think that's a wild thing to confess. I think that's insane. It's insane to think in the first place.
Maybe that's his thing. I don't know. But can we move on? Because
let me ask you this. Have you ever been scared to face any? Has there ever been a player you've had to go up against and you thought, oh God, not this guy?
Oh, plenty of times.
Any examples?
Yeah. When I was in grade school.
I mean, in the league.
Absolutely. Every time I suited up. Everyone wants to just target a guy, like say, in our era, okay, you could, whether it was Tim Hardaway, Isaiah Thomas, Kevin Johnson, Mark Price. Okay, those guys were the all-stars. But you know what? Every single night in the NBA, this is what I always respected about the NBA. Anybody could hit you, Mo, for a 30, 40, 50 piece.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's great it's great when you get up for just the star players, right? You know, I'm playing against the Lakers and Magic Johnson. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, great. But you know what, Mo? There was a guard in the NBA. Like, everyone has this story. There's somebody in the NBA. There's somebody in your career that just had your number. There was a guy who had my number.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Steve Coulter. You probably never heard of the guy.
I have, because I've heard this story before, but that's the only reason why.
This guy had my number. Everybody, if you play in the NBA, every star player, there's a player that has your number.
Mm-hmm.
There's a star player that I played against. Every time I saw him, I had a good game. I don't know why. I just did. It's just certain matchups that you have for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. Every player. Steve Coulter had my number. Now, I was more every time I saw Steve Coulter, probably if I see Steve Coulter to this day, he may give me 30 right now in the backyard. The guy just and there's nothing I can do about it, Mo. There's nothing I can do about it.
Hey, man, that's fair enough.
But I played against star players. And I was okay. But every night in the NBA, I knew that somebody could get a reputation on me.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I stepped on the floor, Mo, I felt that I could have got knocked out. And that's how I approached it. You know what I mean? Like, because the last thing, okay, if Mark Price hit me for 35, you would say, oh, he's supposed to hit you for 35. Steve Coulter hit me for 35. Everybody like, whoa. He did. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hate.
That one hit me much deeper than if.
But did you ever pray for Steve Coulter to tear his ACL before a game?
No.
There we go. Like, I just thought that Kendrick Perkins thing was insane, and he wasn't even guarding LeBron. He ain't even guarding. You worry about Big Z.
Listen. Listen, because I've heard so much in my life and so many things in the locker room. I'm gonna put it in this. The guy just wanted to win bad. I'm sure he didn't want that to happen. What he was really saying is he just wanted to win that bad. It was just a bad example.
Okay. Let's hope so.
But it was just a bad example. He could have given but you know what? He just wanted to win that bad.
Yeah, I feel you.
And I think there was just more out of, and that's the way I take it. I've heard, people talk, whatever, but I'm not going to make too much. I'm going to use my favorite word, whatever. Now let's move on.
Well, I want to win that bad too. I want to be number one in this podcasting world. So to do that, we need you guys at home to make sure you follow, subscribe, and support the show where you can. Leave a review, leave a rating, because we're going to be back every day this week doing what we do best, break it down, everything that happens in the world of the NBA. And with free agency opening in just a couple of days, PJ's going to be annoyed because there's going to be rumor after rumor that I'm going to throw at him, and he's going to try hit me with a stable well, whatever, and I'm not going to let it run. So BJ, you've now escaped the prediction zone, but we're now in the rumor zone. So I hope you're ready for an uncomfortable few weeks as we discuss the trade rumors and the free agency rumors that are coming up. I hope you're ready. You guys at home, thank you for supporting as always. Most importantly, until next time, the vibes. Get buckets.